Hello everyone, and oh my god, I've been away for a few days, been ill for a few days, and the shit has hit the fan regarding companions. Oh my god, the big and great companion nerf has happened in patch 4.0.2. It took me 18 hours to patch that, really, 4 kilobits per second. Wrongly, it was reporting 4 megabits per second. You know, BioWare maths. I thought, Jesus, are we getting, what, 50 new raids or something like that? Or are we getting, you know, it's at 4 megabits per second, it said the download was, and it was taking hours. So it's like, whoa, this must be like a whole new game. Must be another expansion. Level cap must be going up to 75 or something like that. You know, we must be getting like 10 new raids or something, you know, and 50 new flashpoints. I thought, whoa, we're getting a lot of stuff here. But no, it was only downloading at 4 kilobits per second. But like back in the 90s, okay? Back in the good old days, you know? Good old 90s there, 4 kilobits per second. Reminded me of the bad old 1999. That's why I said we're gonna patch like it's 1999, because we were patching at 4 kilobits per second, which is, god, that is awful. Absolutely awful. So, this one, I'm looking at taking a look at the companion change feedback. I had a go with it, with my companions. It's difficult for me to say. I have to say whether the companions are actually nerfed or not. I did do Star Fortress again with my Vanguard. The reason why it's difficult to say how hard it was, because the first time I did Star Fortress, I was sort of 208, the odd 216 commendation gear. I had. Now I have 220 set bonus, 6-piece set bonus gear, and I've got best in slot gloves. I've got a 224 set of gloves, and I've got no PvP gear left, so I've sort of full 216, some 216, mostly 220, and it's mostly the raid tier set bonus stuff. So, I'm looking at this from the perspective, I'm looking at this as a much better geared main character. My player character is much better geared, so I didn't notice any difference that it was. Just looking at this forum post here, which is the companion feedback, which Eric Musco, who they are blaming, they're blaming a lot of people on the forums, blaming Eric Musco for nerfing our companions like he has a choice. You know, he's just the community manager, okay? He doesn't make those decisions. It's the development team that does that. So lay off Eric, you know, stop getting personal with him. Lay off him, you know. He killed his brother, you know, which is bad enough. You know, he had to kill his brother to get a job at EA. You know, you all saw that trailer in Fallen Empire. There you go. He had to kill his brother. So, you know, lay off the man. Just leave him alone, okay? That's what I say. Right, but what it says here is they have actually spelled out, okay, how difficult the content is meant to be. Now, they have started with leveling content. Challenge level, they've said, is low, and that's true. Okay, to complete this content, a player should have basic understanding of the game mechanics and have level-appropriate gear. Companion role shouldn't matter, and that's true. Shouldn't matter, because we always get different companions at different stages of our leveling. So again, you know, a bounty hunter first companion is a healer, although that doesn't matter now, really, because it's since 4.0. But before, it was like your first companion as a bounty hunter was a healer, your first companion as a Jedi Knight was a tank, and so, you know, you had, I think your first companion as an agent was a tank. Most classes, the first companion is a tank, generally. I think nearly all of them. Agent is, Smuggler is a DPS, Jorgen, no, Jorgen's a trooper one, Corso's a smuggler one. Jorgen's a DPS for the trooper. But nowadays doesn't really matter because your companions can do any role. They're just cosmetic, really. So you can have Jorgen as a healer if you want, have him as a tank. It doesn't really matter. So, Knights of the Fallen Empire chapters, they have designated that as low as well. Again, it's similar to leveling content. Players have a basic understanding of game mechanics and of level appropriate gear. Companion role shouldn't matter. No, it shouldn't. Because I've been playing through Fallen Empire story as a sniper, and literally I'm pressing 2 buttons. Okay, most of the things. Engineering sniper, very overpowered, ridiculously overpowered at the moment. The engineering sniper, playing through Knights of the Fallen Empire, pressing 2 buttons. drop a plasma probe, and then just do suppressing fire. And that's it. That's my rotation for the entire run as a sniper. Next thing is Heroic 2 missions, which is challenge level medium. Okay, there's designated this as medium. To complete this content, a player should have good understanding of their class and game mechanics, as well as level appropriate gear. Doesn't really matter, to be honest, when we're dealing with level sync though. Level appropriate gear is irrelevant, because if you're above the level, you get synced down. Everybody gets synced the same, okay, regardless. The only advantage you have is to have more crit or alacrity, but it's your base damage and your base healing output and your base health are all the same regardless of your gear level. So if you're level 65, getting level sync down to 18, you're the same as like a level 45. You're going to do the same things. Obviously, you've got more abilities as a level 65, so there's an advantage. So I don't agree, level appropriate gear, I don't think it matters if you're being synced down. But if you're doing the challenge, the heroic mission at that level, yes, you're going to need level appropriate gear. The companion role does begin to matter, okay? So it supplements the player's own discipline, what they want. So it makes sense, really. You know, you want certain classes that struggle want a healer companion, certain classes that have decent survivability, like a scoundrel, for example. You can crowd control as a scrapper scoundrel. You can just do so much crowd control. You've got stealth CC, you've got stealth, even if you just want to skip the enemies. You don't really need a healer companion. You've also got self-heals as a scoundrel, so you know you're not really going to die. You obviously want a tank companion as a scrapper scoundrel, so you can use backblast more often. So it does tend to matter there. Star Fortress normal mode. The challenge level is meant to be medium. It's meant to be similar to Heroic 2. And again, they expect level appropriate gear. Again, that is level 65, so you should really have probably 208, at least 200. 200 to 208 should be fairly easy with that gear. I went in with 208, 216 and never found any problems with it, to be honest with you as well. So companion role again is, they expect most players to be able to solo this. To be able to solo Star Fortress, the normal version, and Heroic 2 is most of the players are expected to solo this. Okay. Heroic Star Fortress challenge level is high. Not really, if we're honest. So at this one, we expect players to really understand their class and their companion and their gear. Okay, so you need to have be a little bit, maybe not min-max, sort of full 224, but at least have 208 and push towards 216 commendation gear. Bear in mind, 216 commendation gear is really easy to get. I mean, you get flooded with commendations. Even the glowing commendations you get flooded with at level at the end game, so you're alright for them. The glowing ones, the radiant ones, not so much, but you shouldn't need 220. I don't imagine 220 common gear is necessary to do this. I did it before the nerf in before the nerf in commendation gear mostly, so it's not really a challenge. They're meant to be challenging and difficult to solo, hence why they're called heroic. So if you're having trouble soloing, you know, you can always bring someone along. I would like to see a better group finder for this, rather than just spamming in chat on Odessan. I think is a terrible idea. If they implemented a sort of group finder type thing, where we could just be matched with people, or say you could do a search for those who want Alderaan, for example. Alderaan, Star Fortress, because they're all different planets. Alderaan, Star Fortress, you could just search and be automatically grouped with people who are doing Alderaan, Star Fortress. That would be fine. You know, maybe make it 4 people just to make it quicker. Okay, and if you want the one and only achievement, it should still be possible. I think that's the achievement for soloing it, isn't it? I don't remember. I got that anyway. I was wondering what the one and only was, and I was like, oh, I've already got it on my Vanguard. And I was like, I didn't even notice it. I didn't even notice the achievement pop up. We did it on the live stream. And it was fairly easy, quite annoying more than anything. That's why I've never done it again. It's just more annoying than anything. But I did do it again. I didn't find it any harder, to be honest, but I do have a lot better gear, so I guess I might try it with the Scoundrel, really. But again, the Scoundrel, it's not really going to be hugely challenging as a Scoundrel to do this. So yeah, the one and only achievement, it is meant to be difficult. Okay, it's meant to be difficult. Okay. This achievement can be exceptionally difficult and challenging. Similar to HM Star Fortress, you'll need a skilled player, moderate to high influence level with your companion. The influence level I had was the same. I left Senya at 12 influence. Deliberately left her at 12 just to test this. Had her in healer stands. Dropped down a little bit. Had to use some defensive cooldowns, but it's not that hard. It's not that hard. I was looking at some of the players' item levels that they're saying. Most people averaging 190, 204 item level. Like PvP or 204. 190, 192. It's like you're level 65. You shouldn't need to be, so you shouldn't really be in 190 gear at 65, because 208 is really easy to get. You know, you get tons and tons of crystals, okay? And the heroics should be fairly easy to do. You know, they say that most players should be able to solo them, and I agree with that. I think most people should be able to solo heroic 2s, regardless of their companion. You see, the problem was, nobody paid attention to anything in the heroic 2s. You just ran in, face rolled them. It was basically like being over leveled, and it defeated the purpose of level sync, really. What was the point in level syncing you down when, you know, you were still god mode? Because if you went to Coruscant, for example, and did a heroic 2 at level 60 in Shadow of Revan, you were god mode. You face roll all, and you were god mode. If you went there, oh, excuse me. If you find any pauses in this video, it is me coughing. Okay? So we're gonna pause it there. Right. So if you went to Coruscant and did the same heroic in Knights of the Fallen Empire, you were still immortal with a healer companion. Okay. And that's not really what they want. Really, you want to pay attention to the mobs. I still interrupt things out of habit. Like, I see a big flamethrower thing, I'm interrupting it. And by the way, as someone who has done things like, I had to solo the you think Star Fortress is hard, you tried soloing the droid in Corruptor Zero hard mode. You try doing that, like, you have to be responsible for the interrupts or everybody gets killed by a big AoE. Try that, and you try doing, you don't really solo this, well, you have another player, but it's gold Scum and Villainy hard mode. That's fun as a Vanguard. That's real challenge. You're not really soloing because you've got another player, but you have to interrupt, and you have to do all these kinds of things. You have to interrupt the dude that does interrupt the dude's heal, burn them as quickly as possible before you get killed, and then you have to go and fight the other dude who does the can't remember the channeled ability. I can't remember what it's called. You have to interrupt that as well. That is a pain in the arse. That'll bring you down to low levels of health very, very quickly. So yeah, I can't remember what the other dude is called, but he will bring you down to low levels of health insanely quickly. So it is interesting to see that, how they intend you to do this. Is there anyone that can't do a heroic quest these days? Or can't do any heroic quest with a companion? Realistically, I mean, while leveling, heroics are optional. You know, they're not really, you know, do you really care about them while leveling, to be honest? Because you can kind of just level doing your story quest, your class quest anyway. You know, that's 4.0 was designed to be done like that. So I guess if you're having problems, you can always group up. I've always found people to group up with. Even though I didn't want to group up, people just invite me when I'm in the area. And it's like, okay, why not? If it's a non-instanced heroic, it's like, okay, I'll go and do it. I'll go and do it with somebody. I don't really have any issues grouping up. It gets it done faster, and you both get the same reward at the end of the day. So, you know, who cares? If we group up, it gets it done quicker. But yeah, I don't think it's any harder. I did drop to 95% health once in a heroic. Shit, starting to panic though. Better panic. You know, I killed the thing with one hit. You know, the thing was down to like, you know, 2% health, and I had 95%. Time to panic, really. There, you know, you gotta panic. The screaming at Senya as well. Heal me up, Senya. Save me! But anyway, that is all for this video. I don't think it's a hugely bad thing making the single player slightly harder. I think it is far too easy to do right now. Buffing tank companions, I haven't noticed. Apparently they were going to buff the tanks to be, you know, to be able to hold aggro. As an engineering sniper, is leveling only with 192 gear, I should point out. hardly with best in slot gear. You know, I've still got 186 augments and things like that in, or 180 not augments, implants, should I say. But yeah, I'm leveling with the engineering sniper and can't hold aggro. It is ridiculously OP, that spec. I mean, it's insanely overpowered. AoE, it's the new Cleave King, I think. We'll do a video on that at some point. But anyway, that is all for this video, so thank you for joining me, and if you're finding it any harder, if you're finding Star Fortress harder, or anything like that, you know, let them know. They do have the feedback forum as well. Let BioWare know as well. Let me know if you're having any problems as well, if anything is giving you trouble. Bear in mind, big, nasty channel ability, interrupt it. It's called terminate. It's not going to tickle. But anyway, that is all for this video, so thank you for joining me. We'll see you again soon, and goodbye.